What gets you up in the morning? What gets you up and gets you fired up and says, and at the end of the day says, this is why I'm doing this?
Well, definitely to take care of my family. I wanna know that they see an example of what it looks like to work hard and just to take chances, because any of us that are brokers, man, we took a chance, or even as agents, joining the business, we took a risk to do this. I want to see hard work and doing these things pays off.
Big it up, big it up. Yep. Leave in my face. Yeah. Here we go, go. Yeah. Here we go, go.
All right, welcome to Let's Talk Real. We're here with Russell McGuire, broker owner at EXIT Lubbock out of Lubbock, Texas. And actually multiple award winners. And I've known him for a while, but I'll let him give his introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what your brokerage looks like, how long you've been in business.
Sure. All right. Thanks, Melvin. I appreciate you inviting me on. It's always fun to see you at the conventions and connect. So I'm from Lubbock, Texas. Like you mentioned, we're a city of about 300,000 or so. I bought my EXIT franchise in 2007, so right at 15 years, and we've grown it to, I think we're about 137, 138 agents right now. It's a little bit of a moving number as we're on board.
Yeah, people are growing, some people are shrinking. It just kind of goes. So 2007, so 15 years, and were you been in EXIT for the 15 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, I started in real estate in 2002, so I had about 5 years in the business before finding EXIT, and did the first 2.5 years of that as a small independent, and realized how hard it is to be a small independent broker. We were losing money, just bleeding money. And so we left and joined another company just as agents, and we'll make so much more being on a split working for someone else, because it was just so hard as a small company. And so we did that and kind of started building our sales. And my dad and I, started in the business together. So we were building our sales and started to do some real estate investing, and we were finding success, and we were content with that. And then we came across the EXIT platform. We said, wow, this is something we've never seen anything like this before. This is almost too good to be true. And somebody's going to do something big with it. And so we really...
And turns out it was you guys.
Yeah, right. And did some soul searching, because I was kind of done with the brokerage business, honestly, after our first experience. I was like, man, agents aren't loyal. It's just so hard to find people. Then can you keep them and fight all those battles? And it was just one of those things. I just had peace about it, prayed about it. I thought, this is the direction we're supposed to go. And we took that launch with my dad and I, and then two other two other agents we connected with that are the current brokerage we were at. We kind of had a team between the four of us. So we started with 4 agents, thought, well, if we build it, they'll come. And
you built it. You guys have a beautiful office too that you guys built. When and it's been some time, I know, since you guys, when did you build that space, get the building, build it?
Yes, sir. So we started in beginning of like 2015 and moved in 2016. So we've been there about 6 years now, and that was a huge change too. We're about 13,000 square feet in our building. So it was a big undertaking. We were going to rent. We had it in two sections. We had the main part for us. We had another smaller section, about 2,000 feet that we were going to build for an insurance company that was going to be a tenant of ours. And it was like typical construction. As you start building, the numbers keep going up, coming in higher over budget. And so
taking longer.
Yeah, taking long, all the different things. And so we started pricing out. So here's what we'd have to have for rent. And those insurance guys said, we're out. We're bailing on you. We thought, oh God, we're not even in there yet. It ended up being perfect, because our architects went back and we repurposed that side with kind of a bullpen and cubicles, made an area for our new agents. And then we did 2 small kind of independent offices, kind of glassed in offices that we were able to rent to a mortgage company.
Okay.
And do that. And ended up, as we really got some momentum in there, we needed that extra space anyway, so it worked out.
Yeah, see, I would say everything happens for a reason. Had you committed, had they taken it, they might have locked you down and stifled your growth a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's cool. And I want to go back to kind of when I first kind of came in contact with you and met you, and you were on stage and you were so open and sharing with what you and your dad were doing on YouTube, and sharing your training materials. And, in YouTube, and I got on YouTube 07, 08, doing just real estate videos, a little bit of training, but you guys really took it to the next level. And that's when I was like, I got to find this guy. because I was inspired, and remember, and I reached out, and you were so open at sharing, your links and your private trainings and that sort of thing. And so I wanted to, before we get too far ahead, I want to thank you for that, because that was kind of instrumental in helping set the stage on how we were able to kind of grow and deliver our training. So I want to thank you. But so, awesome. And so whose idea, was that your dad's idea? I mean, where'd you, because you guys were ahead of the curve with that, with doing video and doing training on video. Now, everything's training on video, YouTube University, but.
Honestly, it was one of our agents, which he's on staff with us now, but God's really blessed us with some good people that helped us, add value to what we were doing. And we were already doing the trainings for our agents, and not everybody could be in the room at the time of, before Zoom and all those tools were available. And he said, what if I start recording these and we'll host them on YouTube and we'll build this video library? So even as we have brand new agents come in, it's okay, we're going to have training scheduled, but if you need to jump in and hit some of these sooner, we'll have these available. Hey, that's a great idea. So he videoed it, put it all, produced it, put it together, and it did that for us. And, so it wasn't necessarily our great idea. It was the people around us helping make us all better.
Yeah. High tide rises all boats. So now are you guys still doing that now, or have you switched over to some of the more, now that everything is more popular, like, Trainual or recording them on Zoom? Or are you still doing the YouTube way?
We're still, we adapted probably like most people with the pandemic. Once that came, we're going, okay, what does this look like? And so we started doing meetings over Zoom, and then our state was pretty quick to open back up, but not everybody was comfortable. Everybody was all across the board. As far as I'm not seeing anybody hey, I never was worried, let's go.
Right.
And everybody in between. So we now simulcast all of our, sales meeting trainings. We have it live in the room. We have those group people. We also have a group on Zoom. At the same time, Zoom was an easy way to capture those, because you can record it, as you're going, because we're already sharing the screen, doing all the things to accommodate the people doing it.
Yeah, at home. So,
remote. And then, we'll still take those, download those videos and add it into our library we've got for agents. And they just, so that way they can access those material.
All right. And so now you're busy, obviously, brokerage, subleasing space, I guess. And you guys do, I remember from before, you guys also do some investment work as well. Absolutely. Investment portfolio, training investment as well for your agents.
Yes.
Building the office, 135, 140 agents. How do you have the time to do anything else? Well, do you do anything else, or do you eat, sleep, breathe? What do you do when you're not, I guess, between the 1 a.m. and the 4 a.m. when you get some private time? What are you doing during that time?
Well, I honestly, I probably have more time now than at different points in my career. And some of that's learning how to manage everything, and then having the right people in place as we grow. It gives us the ability to add in resources, more staff. So when we started, I kind of had to be everything to everybody and still sell real estate too.
Pay the bills.
Yeah. To keep the doors open, pay the overhead, all the stuff. And that's a really hard position to be in. We were also starting our property management, because we were already managing our own rental properties. And so we had a lot of plates in the air at the time, and not a lot of staff to help with that. And now with the number of agents we have, I don't have to sell. I haven't sold for a long time unless I'm buying something for myself or selling one of our properties. I got a few investors like my brothers and close people that, I may represent, but they're also not going out and say, show me this house. I'm sending them the link. Hey, what do you think? Yeah, write it up.
Right.
So it is not anything. It takes a lot of time. But I've got people over, different parts of the business. We have a property management company too we're managing. I think we're 470, almost 475 units.
Why not 475 doors?
Yeah, we're approaching 500.
Okay.
And that's grown every time. But I have individual property managers over their group that they're seeing those. I've got people doing the accounting, the bookkeeping, people answering the phone calls, doing those things. And I'm more, the fireman. When they got an issue, they can't figure out what to do with it, or, deal with some of the complaints, some of those harder things, and maybe some of the bigger makers. But most of it, they're pretty self-sufficient. And then with the agency itself, of course, we have a lot of agents. That takes a lot of time, but we're proactive, giving them good value at the sales meeting. It's not just a meeting, but it's got training. It's got something to equip them in the business. We do training every Thursday, and then we may have some specialty things we're doing in between too, besides the exit trainings. and things, but I don't necessarily have to do all those now. I have
because you have a team.
Yeah, I have a team. I have a sales manager, Kobe Krupp, been in the business about 22 years.
So I'll do a quote of the day. So today, company culture is the product of a company's values, expectations, and environment. And that's by Courtney Chapman, who's a product manager for Rubicon Project. Quote of the day.
So I have a sales manager, Kobe Krupp. He's been in the business over 20 years, and he really helps with answering agents' questions, looking over contracts, reviewing things, but he can also jump in and do some of the trainings. And then Ruben Young, he's the guy I mentioned before that initially had the idea about, hey, let's record these trainings.
Okay.
Things. We brought him on staff. He does agent onboarding, does all our compliance. We use .Loop for our files. So he's the one getting those emails. Hey, somebody submitted a file for you, go through all the checks, make sure it's right. And usually it's not. He makes some better agents. Hey, you missed this, change this, add this, whatever.
And he's been with you for some time. And it sounds like you're very good at, as you've built your culture and you've grown, yes, we all have turnover, but you've seemingly been able to kind of elude the turnover crisis that a lot of other small business owners face with constant turnover.
Right.
You built a culture that keeps them. How did you do that? What makes people want to stay with you for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? How did...
Well, let me throw in, though, we do have turnover. We do have people leave, but again, the more we grow, and my dad always kind of had this vision in the beginning. He said, okay, we're building a core. You've got, like if you look at a target, you have that bullseye in the middle, and then you have all these rings that get further and further out. So some of these guys, when they come in, we know they're kind of in this outer ring. They're not loyal, that, they're in this to get trained and go do their own thing or whatever, but they'll help us pay the bills in the meanwhile, and hopefully we can bless them while they're there. They'll we'll both benefit from their transaction, and they'll be on to the next things. And there's some, I've been blindsided a lot through the years where I thought we really had a connection with somebody, and they walk in, well, I'm going this place, I'm doing this.
At least they talk to you.
So some of them.
Yeah, at least,
whatever, and that just is part of the business. But each time, the people that leave are usually somewhere on this outside. If they're in the middle of our culture, in the middle of who we are in our heart of the business, I'm typically not having that issue anyway. It's those adding new people. We're finding people that fit that culture and fit more central to what we're doing. And so the risk of losing people seems to get less and less the further we go, because you've got the ones that stay or the
your nucleus, and then it's the like you said, the outskirts. Those are the ones that
and it's building the, like I said, the culture. There's all kinds of things we offer, all kinds of resources, tools, and when a new agent comes in, what's your split? What's this? And they want to know. I'm like, that's all great, but that's not what keeps people here. It's really what's your heart? Who are you as a person besides business? And it's really the same heart you hear from Exit, that it's not money first, it's people first. If we take care of our people, we don't have to worry about, well, how are we going to pay the bills? And we kind of said that from the beginning. Let's make sure the agents are successful. If they're successful, we'll have to worry about
choice. You guys are successful.
What's going to happen to us? And so we try to live that. I mean, we definitely don't get everything right, but try to display that we're here to just know what's going on in their lives. And I think about the example we have with Exit, that I had talked to Tammy Bennell back during the pandemic, and I'd gotten invited to this broker mastermind thing, and I wasn't able to go. And she called me and said, hey, I'm so sorry we missed you. I just want to know how much we appreciate you. And I was like, man, that it was very nice as we're talking. I'm actually at home right now with COVID. Couldn't be in the office, trying to do things remote. And the reason I couldn't go to the event they were having is I was waiting on a knee surgery, and it wasn't a scheduled thing. It was like, they're waiting for donor materials, and when it comes in, like, okay,
you got to go.
Surgery. So I was in the middle of that. And so then I go to last October, the regional rally we had, since we didn't have the normal convention, our region put on an event. And I walk in before it starts, and I run into Tammy, and this has been 2 months since I talked to her on the phone. And she said, okay, looks like you're recovered from COVID. You feeling okay? You doing right?
She's good. She's so good.
Well, how about your knee? Have you had the surgery? Well, no, here's where I'm at. But I was just going, of all the people, sales, all the agents, and there's 800 or more brokers in our system, and she remembers that specific conversation. I'm going, wow, that's amazing. Just blew me away. And we try to emulate that, as much as we can with our people, to not just, hey, where your sales was going, but how's your daughter doing? What about your son that's in this sport or whatever? Just know them as people, and you really want to see them do well. and you kind of mentioned our investing. We've been investing in real estate for close to 20 years and learned, lots of lessons, a lot of mistakes and what to do, what not to do. And I tell my agents, I want to help you do this, not because there's anything in it for me, there's not, but I want to see you have the best financial future, and that's by owning real estate. And so we try to empower them with that. Say, we're going to mentor you, we'll help you. You bring us a property, we'll tell you if I would buy this, I wouldn't, how to help finance it, all the different things. Anything they buy in our office for themselves, we don't take our split. We say, you keep the.
That's good. Yeah, we do that.
Commission.
Yeah. Said I didn't know anyone else did that. So.
Yeah, and I'll tell them too, don't just have it come. I mean, there's different ways to do it, but if you tell me ahead of time, I'd help you strategize, because if they pay a commission, I'm going to turn around and write you a check for all of it, but that's going to be on your 1099. You're going to pay income tax on it. If I know ahead of time, we can strategize. How do we work this in your deal where it's a concession from the seller? And maybe it's paying your closing costs, something like that, or a credit. You're closing. Well, now it didn't go through me. There's no income tax on it. So you got an even better position.
That's a good. So you're next level. I'm glad. I knew I was going to learn something from you. So I appreciate it. So you got 130, 140 agents, 475 doors in the property management company. Is the property management company out of the same office, different office, same staff, similar staff?
Yeah, we're
or is
utilizing
that under the is the property management company name the same?
No, it's we did a separate company.
Okay.
And we wanted to separate the liability because there's so much more liability. Property management, I don't think EXIT really wants anything to do with.
They don't want
anything. Which makes sense. But so they're sister companies, but they feed each other.
But yeah, and you can have some shared resources, which makes it easier to run. I know the margins in property management are slim to none. Yeah.
I have very little overhead in that company because we use the same building. I use the same staff. I've already, the lady that writes our commission, she runs point on paying the bills, paying the owners out every month. I have two girls that sit up front as they're receptionists and admins, both, but they can answer the phone. We use the same number for both. Okay. So they can work on both things, because the property management is a little more reactive of somebody calling in, hey, I got this issue, whatever. Okay, great. Let me get you to a vendor, whatever. And so they can fill that in and still do their normal real estate tasks. So it makes it a lot more profitable than if we had to have a separate building, all the staff.
The idea, hey, I'm going to throw the property management company. Let's run an office. Who's going to do it? Yeah.
It'd be hard to make much money at doing it at that, I think.
Yeah. And now do you end up buying on your investment business side from your property management clients that when they get to retirement age and they just say, hey, Russell, we're just coming to you first. And then you say, you know what? I'd be interested in making an offer. Yeah. How often does that happen?
We've had some. I can think of one in particular. It wasn't because of retirement, but I had a guy that we were managing one house for him, a good area. We had great tenants in place, and he said, I know you're going to think I'm crazy. I got to sell them. I'm like, you're crazy. Don't do it. He said, I've got an opportunity to buy something where the market I moved to, and I've got to have the equity out of this. I'm like, don't do it. You've got great tenants that are on a 2-year lease. It's a great area. It's going to appreciate well. He said, I have to. I don't have a choice. I said, okay, I'll make you an offer. He said, well, I was hoping you would. I'm like, great. So we worked the numbers and find something, because I don't have to try to steal it from them. I don't want to do that anyway. I want to find something that's a win-win, because really what's going to make the benefit is owning it long term. It's not going to matter too much what I paid. But we found something that it was still under the market for me, but it's a good deal for him because he didn't have all the commissions and closing costs, repairs, all the things you'd have selling it in the open market. So got him down there, got his money quickly. We've got a great property, and we've had that one. That's probably been 10 years ago. And now I look at it go, man, it's so much more of what he should have kept it.
Right. But and that's the thing. That's why I have those conversations with investors and buyers. And, investors by nature, particularly, I'll say newer investors. I wasn't like younger, but really just newer investors, no matter the age. They want to, squeeze every, they want to offer 70% ARV. They want to, but if you buy a $200,000 house today, or you think about the houses that you own today and what you paid for 10 years ago, 20 years ago, if you paid 10% more, 10% less, 15, 20% more in some cases, 20% less, it wouldn't matter. I mean, you're looking at a $200,000 house that's now worth $500,000. Would it have mattered if you paid $230,000?
No. That's exactly right.
So that's a good lesson. It really is that long-term piece and legacy. And speaking of legacy, Do you you're a family man?
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about your kids. I know you have 4.
Yes, sir. So I'm married. My wife and I've been married 18 years, and from September was our anniversary. We have 4 kids. So we have 3 boys that were biological kids. And it's funny, when we got married, we were told she couldn't have kids. We didn't think we'd have any. And then you've been married a couple of years, and all of a sudden she was pregnant. Well, surprise! It's definitely a surprise. Right. And then they kept coming for three boys. So.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, right. But each time it's like, well, I don't know if this will happen.
Right, God's working. God's working all the time.
He did, and it's been awesome. And so they're older. My oldest son, he's about to turn 16. I've got a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and then 3 years ago we adopted a little girl from China. She was 5 at the time. She's 8 now. She has some special needs and things. So it changed our dynamic, in a lot of ways, but for sure adding a girl to the mix that we didn't have. And I was telling somebody the story yesterday from here. They were asking about my kids, and I said, my biggest fear, my wife and our biggest fear was taking anything away from our boys but we really felt like God was calling us to adoption. And we both sets of parents were like, don't do it. Don't mess up your family. Like, I don't want to, but I can't ignore what I feel like the Lord's telling us to do. We got to be obedient or disobedient. We want to choose obedience. And so we did. And she's been the best thing for our boys. She's totally changed their lives. It's been amazing. Because the boys, they love each other, but they're more, it's tough love. They'll fight, they'll play some, but with her, man, it's all just taking care of her. Just, she's got them wrapped around her finger,
right?
But it's so amazing to see. And even my youngest son, he was always the baby of the family. He was 8 at the time when we got her, and so he's always been the baby. Never had a chance to be a big brother, and now he's not only is he, but he's like the closest to her, and probably the most that fills that role of a caretaker. A lot of times it's really cool to see, and it'll be nice seeing their future. How that affects their lives, or maybe if they adopt at some point, or
right. Yeah, that's awesome to to say, for you to have all of this work, all of this, these doors that you're managing, all of these agents that you're training and clients that you're serving, and your own 3 kids, and that you would follow your heart and follow God's wishes and adopt. Most people would not go. They would say, "Oh, I don't have time. I have to put my focus here." So that's really awesome that
thank you.
that you guys did that. That's been 3 years now.
3 years, yeah.
All right. And what do they do? What you mentioned soccer earlier. What's is that the main sport?
No, none of my kids, they've got my genes, so none of them are going to be professional athletes. Anything, they just like to play, have fun. They probably spend way too much time playing video games. I wish they were outside more doing that stuff, but they do enjoy some sports, but I don't think they're too heavy. And my middle son, I told you, he plays basketball. He kind of fell in love with that and likes to do it now. And now he's almost getting into football. So he never played like organized football. Hey, Dad,
he's going to start now.
It's just, hey, Dad, let's go outside and throw the football. And I think back to when I was a kid, and I didn't really have that. My dad was there. He's a great dad, but we didn't ever go play football or anything. So I'm always like, no matter how tired I'm, okay, yeah.
Let's do it. Try this.
Let's do it. And he's helping me kind of rehab for my knee surgery too.
Right. Now you didn't know. It's a win-win.
Yeah. So we'll have fun. He's like, okay, this play is this, and he'll make up. We're going to run a 76, and I'm going to go straight. You're going to throw it over my shoulder. Great. And then after a while, I'm like, wait, what was this play? He's like, I can't keep up the ball.
He's got the whole thing. He's lifting it up. He's doing the thing. Like, where'd you get these plays from?
Yeah.
Who bought you that arm sleeve? Right.
It's pretty funny, but it's something fun that we can do and connect with and enjoy. And so I don't know, we just all like being around each other, doing things.
That's cool. And it sounds like of everything that you're doing, that's your favorite thing. Is that your why? I mean,
yeah.
Is that the reason why what gets you up in the morning? What gets you up and gets you fired up and at the end of the day says, this is why I'm doing this?
Well, definitely to take care of my family. I wanna know that they see an example of what it looks like to work hard and just to take chances, because any of us that are brokers, man, we took a chance, or even as agents, joining the business, we took a risk to do this. I want to see hard work and doing these things pays off. And also with our agents, because we have relationships and we care about these people, that's a lot of my why too, is not just, doesn't have to be financially driven. I mean, that will come too, but okay, I've seen this agent succeed, or they got their first deal, or even more important, they're buying their first property, their 10th property. Man, that's so fun to see that they're winning, they're doing well, and it's changing their lives, from what they could be. I've got one girl that she's one of our top agents in the entire office. She's only been doing this about 5 years, and she's got a whole incredible story. She would be a much better podcast than me.
Listen, but this is on the title. Let's talk real time.
She got a diagnosis with cancer, and they gave her 18 months. And this was, and when I'm meeting her, it's past that 18 months, but God has just given her time, and becoming a realtor was on her bucket list. She'd always been a stay-at-home mom and doesn't have a work history, track record to say this is someone that'll be successful. And she actually signed up with a different broker. We didn't know her. She signed up with a broker that taught the real estate courses, and she was getting no help. Just couldn't. You call her, hey, I got a buyer. Well, I'll meet you next week. Kept blowing her off. She got a referral to come in to us. Whatever you do, you got to go somewhere and get some help. So we'd love to have you, and she was so thankful. We gave her the time of day. Well, everybody in town is calling her now trying to recruit her away, but she appreciated. We gave her a chance when she didn't have anything to show for it, but she started going, and man, I'll talk to her. I got 10 closes at this. It's just running, and she got the favor of God in her life that you just see deals coming to her. But most importantly, she started investing in real estate.
Okay.
And she said, I met with my banker, and he maybe put together a financial statement. And it's just stuff that she didn't come from money. She came from really difficult circumstances. Her high school counselor told her, you don't need to graduate. You don't need a degree to work at McDonald's. That was the kind of opportunity she was given. Anyway, she meets with her banker. She said, I own several $1 million of real estate. She's like, this has changed not just my life. It's going to change my family's life and continue to change their life. Like, even when I'm gone, she's like, wow. And she gives us credit, and I'm going, you did it. We just showed you the way. She gave us way too much of the credit for the hard work and things she done. But, like, those are things that give you that drive. So okay,
the individuals always do ultimately do the work, that whether it's sports, whether it's academic, but they have to have the right structure and the right guidelines. And it sounds like she wasn't in the right place before, but she fortunately found you guys, and it sounds like God was on her side in a bunch of ways. Yeah, putting her in touch with you guys, and now I'm sure she would agree that she probably wouldn't have those millions, at least at this time, if it wasn't for you guys. So you guys are definitely
so fun to see.
That's cool. That's a really cool story. So if we were in Lubbock, you're an agent in Lubbock, looking to participate in your training or potentially enhance or start a multi-million-dollar real estate investment portfolio, how would someone how would an agent get in touch with you? What's the best way? Would it be Instagram, Facebook, phone, email? How do we reach you?
Any of it. I'd say, of course, with EXIT, we got our mobile business card, so you can text. EXIT's text line is 85377. So if you just text Russell, just RUSSELL,
okay,
85377, that'll send you back the link to
your
mobile business card with cell phone, office, all the.
So that's gonna be the best way. So send a text message to 85377. The word Russell, RUSSELL, and then they'll get all of your information. All right. Well, this has been great, and also too, I guess the same would apply if I wanted to buy a house in the Lubbock area, or potentially sell a house, right now, or just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't mean maybe I don't want to sell, or I'm not sure what I want to do, but I want to talk to someone knowledgeable. I'm sure they can 85377 Russell and can reach you, and you will put them in touch with one of your rock star agents.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, I appreciate it, man. This is very good. Thanks for chatting.
Always good to talk with you. And add in, Melvin was the top recruiter for EXIT Realty. He won one of the top awards in the whole thing. So, very, very good job.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thanks again.
Hey, thanks, Melvin.